for those of you who are unaware, the man, Luigi Mangione, the person who shot the healthcare CEO in New York City, had a manifesto. Now, unsurprisingly, the media, mainstream media, has not bothered to tell anybody that this manifesto exists, explaining why he did it, his reasonings, his motivations, etc., what he wanted out of this, basically the whole gist of why he did what he did. And the mainstream media is blocking this out as if it simply does not exist. So what I'm going to do is, I did read over his manifesto. Now it's important to note that there is a fake one circulating and there is a real one that is circulating. So the link in the description will send you to the actual real manifesto that he gave. It's important to note that there has been some disappointment, in him, and there has been some condemnation of him from the left because he is pro-police. He did say in his manifesto that he apologized for any grief, any trouble that this had caused the police, and that he values them as a service and that they do a service for the country. So clearly this guy was not a leftist. He was a rightist. But I don't think that takes away from what it is that he did, nor the existing morality of what he did. Now, in it, he also talks about how he built the weapon that he used, that he did have a degree in engineering and that he did have some help from some online sources, etc., to build the gun that he used to kill the CEO. He said he did this to make things easier for the police to figure things out. Like, I don't really understand how that really would have helped make it easier for them to figure out. I mean, it's pretty clear once they found the murder weapon, then they would have been able to put it together from there. But you see, the thing is, there has been a very small group of left-wing who pronounced that this was the beginning of an uprising, that this was spontaneous class consciousness finally coming through. And again, there was a very, very small section of the online left community that had actually claimed that. And this is very, very far from the truth. For one, this guy was not a leftist. He was a rightist. And in his manifestos, he explicitly blamed greedy CEOs that took things too far and corporations that were doing too much. He knows that the U.S. was most expensive healthcare in the world, yet 42nd in terms of life expectancy. That's what he wrote in the manifesto. And that it was their greed that had gone too far. I'm not quoting him, but that basically the idea was that the greed had gone too far and began to hurt the thing that it is that it's supposed to do, kind of thing. But that is the logical conclusion of the rightist ideology. This is what capitalism produces. This is why so many countries in the world don't have a private healthcare system. This is why it's socialized. So this is far from some kind of spontaneous class consciousness or uprising, which is frankly really just silly. This is vigilantism. And vigilantism usually does come from the right in the form that being that a vigilante is not necessarily against the police, but feel that the police are not doing enough. So this wasn't like this guy decided to become some kind of radical activist or something. He felt like the system should have been stopping it and wasn't doing it enough. And his pro-police statement before that certainly made it clear that he didn't have any hard feelings towards the police and specifically wanted to make their jobs earlier. This was vigilantism. It was not spontaneous class consciousness. So those who had been saying this, frankly, were not even close to being right. It does happen. Finally something happens, and then there's a section of the left that thinks that this is it, the revolution is here, or this is the beginning of as Lenin said, sometimes there's decades where weeks happen, and sometimes there's weeks where decades happen, and they think that this is finally it, this is finally when something's going to happen. And I usually like to supplement Lenin's expression by saying, and sometimes there's centuries or a century where nothing happens. So that this always does happen in situations like this, where you do have this kind of action and someone thinks this is the beginning of a revolution. This is the beginning of some kind of uprising, etc. Now, there may be copycats who go around and do this. I mean, certainly CEOs are afraid. They have gone ahead and asked for their Wikipedia pages to be removed and their bios from the companies that they work for, etc., and have hired more security to protect them from anybody trying to copycat this. So by no means am I denouncing the guy for what he did. He did what he did, and it was for the reasons that he said that he did it. I'm not praising the killing of the CEO because that would violate YouTube's terms of service. I'm assuming that it would. So I'm just being careful here. So I'm not condemning this guy. I'm just saying he may not be what you think he is, but he still did what he did. And I believe his heart was in the right place and wanted to do the right thing. And that should be remembered despite the fact that he is a right-winger. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.